Huddersfield. It's a town with a rich industrial history, continuing the trend from recent episodes. It's famous for its mills and sports, but it's about to face its biggest challenge yet. Will it tick enough of my arbitrary boxes to get a high score on York Review?
Hi, I'm Stuart Morris. I'm cycling to every large town near me in order of ascending distance and rating them, with the end goal of reaching Flamborough. This is York Review.
I didn't quite manage the back-to-back cycling days promised in the last episode, but after a one-day rest I was back on the road, this time travelling through Tadcaster on a busy road to Leeds.
These roads are gridlocked today. It says on one of the bus the word Leeds Festival, so I'm guessing that today is the day they kick out all the Leeds Festival people. Oh god, I have to cross it now.
After dodging festival traffic, I passed through the tiny Tier 11 village of Oulton. It was while hopping round these villages near Leeds that I made an unexpected discovery.
So I was just about to cycle into Tingley when I saw a sign that caught my eye. It says it's called the Rhubarb Triangle Farm Shop. Well, I wonder if I can get myself some Yorkshire forced rhubarb. That'd be fantastic.
The Rhubarb Triangle describes a small region home to Yorkshire forced rhubarb, a rhubarb crop which grows in dark sheds and is harvested by candlelight. In the Wakefield episode, I found statues dedicated to the crop, but I couldn't find anywhere selling it.
Now this is the sort of rhubarb content I've been after ever since I learned about it in the Wakefield episode. And as this is my last time coming through the Rhubarb Triangle, I should probably take advantage of it. So the Rhubarb Triangle.
The shop was proud of its rhubarb heritage. They even played a rhubarb-themed radio channel.
Oh, fat guy.
It was looking like there was no forced rhubarb to be seen, but a local rhubarb lady helped me find the good stuff.
You alright there?
Hey, do you have any forced rhubarb in?
It's not any forced rhubarb, it's just in the freezer there.
The red block?
Yes.
Ah, brilliant, thank you. Forced rhubarb. That was cool. Did I just hear it say rhubarb radio?
Yes.
I like the rhubarb theme.
It's all doing it. It was a lucky find with that.
Right, cheers. Thank you.
Rhubarb in hand, I was back on the bike when a second rare opportunity presented itself to me.
It's always been a dream of mine to overtake a cycling convoy. Will today be that day? I finally want to ascend to not the worst cyclist on the road.
Despite having a YouTube channel with almost 50 cycling videos, I'm not actually a strong cyclist. Maybe it's my heavily laden hybrid bike, or maybe I'm just unfit, but I'm always overtaken by proper cyclists on country roads. This could be a rare opportunity for me to fight back. I was doing it! I didn't want to compete with cars, so I cheekily mounted the pavement, but I was still doing it.
The leaders. I take the leaders. I take the team.
I was properly out of breath now, but I noticed some front runners in the group. Fueled on adrenaline alone, I moved to intercept. I'd caught up, but I was struggling to make my move. Luckily, I had a traffic light assist. They sped off from the lights, sensing my challenge, but I wasn't going to give up now.
I've never overtaken anyone before on this show. I finally did it. I'm not the slowest cyclist on the road anymore.
After what can only be described as a monumental achievement, I continued on through Dewsbury. It was here I started to get a sense of how big Huddersfield was going to be.
Bigger than Wakefield. I thought anyway. Oh, it's huge. This place is huge. It must just be too close to Huddersfield. Huddersfield must just be the dominant town in this area, and Google Maps doesn't show anywhere else near it. Dewsbury has a minster. Like a minster, and it's not even a Yorkshire town.
So I'm in a place called Dewsbury at the moment, and this place is massive. Yeah, there's a great big park behind me. It's even got a minster. This might not be the minster, but it's definitely got a minster. When you have a place that's this big, how is Dewsbury not a York Review town, and places like Barmston are? I mean, Huddersfield must just be so big that it eclipses all the towns nearby on Google Maps. So I'm expecting big things for Huddersfield now.
After Dewsbury, I passed through the Calder Valley, and then I finally reached the outskirts of Huddersfield. It took some time to pass through all the industrial buildings on the outskirts of the town, but after some serious effort, I started to approach the town centre. Huddersfield is a Tier 3 town nearly halfway between Leeds and Manchester. It's not to be confused with Buddhafield, a modern US religious movement described as a cult by some. If anyone was actually watching this expecting a video on Buddhafield, I can only apologise for the previous 6 confusing minutes.
Walking around Huddersfield, you get the sense that it feels more like a city than a town. And that's because it's this wide, vast open spaces with these giant Victorian buildings around the edges. It's a really big place. One of the reasons that all the buildings are Victorian is because Huddersfield really bloomed in the Victorian era due to the Industrial Revolution, where it was a prominent milling town.
Huddersfield was a big player in the Victorian economy, but this came at a cost. Many labourers were put out of work when the milling machines came in, and they revolted by forming the Luddites. This group, said to be led by the fictional Ned Ludd, would break these machines in the name of workers' rights, until they were thwarted by military intervention. Nowadays, most of the mills have shut down due to overseas competition, which makes time the greatest Luddite of them all. That's my poetic thought of the episode.
Huddersfield is a very big town, and it was home to some very big people, including Harold Wilson, two-time former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And also, I think Jodie Whittaker is supposed to come from a village not far from here.
In addition to being former Prime Minister, Harold Wilson was also a big fan of Huddersfield Football Club. Now, I've never really talked much about sport on this series, and I see no reason to start now.
It's actually raining a bit at the moment, which hasn't happened in a York Review episode in a long time. I'm usually quite good at picking the days that I do these, but because I'm in such a mad scramble to finish at the moment, I have to take some risks on the days I go out, and it's not really paid off today. That's the smallest market I've ever seen. Ah, wait. Yeah, it's an indoor market. Walking around Scunthorpe, I was really impressed with how big the town centre was, but Huddersfield just blows that out of the water. It's comparable to the Tier 2 towns of Hull and York. I'm really impressed with the town centre here. But what are the parks like?
Following the standard format of a modern York Review episode, I left the town centre in search of the nearest green space I could find, which turned out to be Greenhead Park.
This park is amazing! I mean, even on a day as grey and miserable as this, it's still bursting with colour. It's so lively, it's so big. Huddersfield is starting to remind me a bit of Harrogate. A really nice town centre, really nice parks on the outside. I just wonder if there's anything else lurking out there.
So far, the park was impressing me, and they had a pretty nice war memorial. Little did I know that this statue was just the appetizer.
That's a high quality war memorial. It's only when you get up by the war memorial that you can really appreciate how big this park is. I mean, when I first entered, I had no idea there was a fairground in town. And I also didn't know that this park had a giant lake. Is that in shot? No. Where's the lake?
With the park complete, I had one last item on the agenda, and this is something I wanted to see for a long time.
Most of the time, I don't know the places I'm going to in York Review. Although sometimes I will go to a place that I've visited before. But Huddersfield is a bit in the middle, in that I kind of know it, because whenever I get a train home, I have to go from York across the country to Lancashire. And to do that, the train goes through this valley where Huddersfield is. And every time I've gone through it, I have seen a mysterious castle at the top of a hill. Every time. So I'm looking forward to actually finally getting the chance to get up there and see what that castle actually is.
Castle Hill is a daunting prospect following what's already been a long cycle from York to Huddersfield. It stood over 500 feet above the town centre. That's nearly 68 William Bradleys, the tallest man to ever come out of Market Weighton.
It's only 3 miles away, but it's going to be a hell of a climb to get up there. This hill is insanity. Look at how steep the gradient is on that wall. How the hell am I supposed to cycle up this? It's close enough now that I can start to make out some of the details on it, but it's still significantly higher than I am. A long way left to go. Have you ever tried cycling up a mountain? It's not as hard as you think it is.
Eventually I stopped complaining and I finally reached the top of Castle Hill.
Well, that took a very long time to climb, but here we are, Castle Hill. Victoria Tower sits at the top of Castle Hill, and it was built to commemorate Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee. Now, the tower itself is 106 feet tall, which, when combined with the height of the hill, makes the top of that tower 1,000 foot above sea level. I don't know if it's exactly 1,000 feet, but that'd be pretty cool if it was true. It's really quite a nice view from the top. You can see all of Huddersfield from up here, including the train that I'd spot the tower from on my commute back home. I can't see it for sure, but it has to be down there somewhere, right? There also seems to be some sort of giant spike on the next hill. That's an interesting one. A secondary spike next to it.
There's also a prominent beacon on the hill. People say there's been a beacon here since the 1580s to signal invasion from the Spanish Armada. The modern beacon is more ornamental and was lit in 2022 for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
And now, as I sometimes do, allow me to read from you some lines written about the beautiful town of Huddersfield. The Sheriff of Huddersfield, locked in his castle, looked down on the Hollywood Hills. The Sheriff of Huddersfield, locked in his castle, you're our own hot rod on wheels. That's from a song called The Sheriff of Huddersfield by a little band called Iron Maiden?
Baseball and football, they're making inroads in your fan clubs is one day. Come home. The Sheriff of Huddersfield, locked in his castle, looked down on the Hollywood Hills. The Sheriff of Huddersfield, locked in his castle, you're our own hot rod on wheels.
Huddersfield is a great town. The town centre is huge and sprawling with lots of nice historic Victorian buildings and a great water feature. The parks surrounding it are beautiful, and Victoria Tower up on Castle Hill is fantastic, and the views are amazing. This is a really strong town to visit. I just don't think the views up here are quite as breathtaking as the ones on Knaresborough or on Ilkley Moor, and so for those reasons, I'm going to give Huddersfield a Yorkshire out of Yorkshire. Time to get my rhubarb on.
Okay, how hard can it be to do a recipe video? Firstly, add the rhubarb to the pan. Be careful not to add the plastic wrapper. Then add the sugar. Make sure to measure it, even if you don't know how much to put in. Then apply heat and circular spooning for some time. Make the crumble, while contorting your face to make it look like you're in pain. Add the surprisingly liquidy substance to the oven and hope it comes out good.
Well, I never said I was good at making desserts. It sort of exploded.
Despite appearances, it actually tasted nice. You'll just have to trust me on that.